Hi everyone, Morten Åstad here, welcome to my channel. This video is a entry into Alex from Beer and Vinyl's contest. Yes, he's holding a contest or a celebration of it being 1 year since he joined the vinyl community and made his first video, well, dedicated specifically to the vinyl community and making videos about records and all that stuff that we do here. And first of all, I want to say congratulations on a year. It's been great getting to know you, Alex, and I hope you keep up the splendid videos. His videos also has an element, as you can hear from the title, of beer, having been very much involved in the craft beer scene as a hobby for, well, beer most of my also a little bit before I was old enough to drink legally. It's fun to watch this, and I haven't had any beers in 2024. This has been not a decision as such. It's just that I had sort of reached a milestone in my craft beer experiences in last year, and with health issues and everything else, and I was they say if you're bored with beer, you're bored with life, but it's just ended up being like this, and so I don't know what 2025 is gonna bring as far as beer experiences for me, but 2024 has been a what do you call it? White year. I haven't had any alcohol at all in 2024, and it's been one of those things where I actually managed to do something without it being a specific goal or someone twisting my ear or something, and it just felt good to be able to do that somehow. I don't know. So the competition is that he wants us to choose a favorite year in music and show records from that. There's no specific numbers or anything like that, and he isn't that strict as to why you chose the year or why that's your favorite year. And the thing is that in as much that whether or not I have a favorite year in music, he kind of put the kibosh, is that the word kibosh? Kibosh, in that in his own video when he picked that year, because I have a fondness for 1971, and that's not because I was born in 1971, but it's for well, might be, I don't know, but there are quite a few records from 1971 that means a lot to me, and perhaps my favorite album of all time was released in 1971 along with me, and that's the Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers. So I thought, well, and then I watched some other videos, and they were either doing the same year or a ballpark. So it's taken me about a month, and I haven't been constantly thinking about this for a month, but it's and then I decided there were a couple of artists that I would definitely like to show because they are my favorite artists, and their records mean a lot to me. And was there a year where these things came together? And yes, there is. There is the year of 1993. So I'm going to show you a few CDs, and I'm going to show you some vinyl, because even though I love these albums, some of them I don't have on vinyl, which would be cool, but there you go. Now, 1993, not all of these albums were bought by me in 1993, because some of these artists I was not aware of in 1993. For example, this band or these artists I was probably became aware of in 1996 because of Train Spotting the movie, and I went to film college in Ebeltoft in Denmark at the time, and I was introduced to quite a lot of music by people from at that school. So this is dub no bass with my head man from Underworld. And I remember first time I heard Underworld and heard an entire album's worth of Underworld. I was very excited, and I thought that was a very new thing for me. And I stuck with them. I may not have. Yeah, they released a new album this year, which I don't have. But yeah, I very much enjoy Underworld. That was the noise from posten.no. I think I got a record that I can pick up tomorrow. But yeah, so this is a deluxe edition. Their follow-up I liked even more. But that wasn't from 1993, so there you go. A record that and an artist that I was very much aware of in 1993, of course, was, and he still is, Paul Weller. Because I became a fan of his music with the Style Council, and then later on I became aware of the Jam, and of course picked up. I think this was my first Paul Weller solo album, which I got then back in 1993, and then this wasn't his solo debut; it was the previous album. So another great album, Wildwood. Especially you guys over there in America, I always say, check out. Quite a few guys over there are aware of the Style Council from, they did have a certain level of success in the US. Jam, many people are unaware of, and his solo career. He's huge in England or Britain, of course, but not so much elsewhere. Yeah, but Paul Weller, great album, 1993. And of course, this is their debut album. Of course, they are known under another slightly different name over in the US because of naming rights. But Suede is a band that I absolutely love. Their debut album, their second album was a Dogman Star. Bit of a tough listen in the beginning, but now and yeah, their third album also was a resurgence after they lost Bernard Butler and he left to do other things. But the current version of Suede, I think, is a great, wonderful man. And if you don't have any Suede, I do recommend that you start here. Another band that came out of left field, sort of, and surprised me a lot, and I really dug how they sounded. And they're not so much of a band anymore. They're more of a one-man show, but a lot of bands are. Was the debut album of Emergency on Planet Earth from Jamiroquai. And I sort of gotten a bit on the wayside as far as these guys go, and I keep telling myself I should listen to them more. Of the albums that I've shown so far, this is probably the CD that the second highest on my want list on vinyl. I really want to get this on vinyl. It's not impossible. I keep putting it off, but this is of course Björk's debut. Well, not really, but this is her adult, as an adult person, debut album, and it's called Debut. She did release, or someone did, an album when she was, I think it was 11 years old in Iceland. I, of course, became a fan of first or second year in high school in the 80s, late 80s, yeah, of Sugar Cubes. They did a program, I remember, on Norwegian television or whatever it was, where Birthday was featured. I remember. I think it was about the cultural scene, what's going on in Iceland or something. And Sugar Cubes released 3 albums and then disbanded. And this is what we got afterwards, and this is just bloody marvelous. So, yeah. Dear old Björk there. Wonderful album. Last of the CDs is definitely the one that I want the most on vinyl. This is my lifetime heroes, and if this isn't my favorite album of the ones that I'm going to show you, it's definitely the most beautiful. This was in many ways the band's last album. They disbanded afterwards, and the singer-songwriter went on his merry way on a solo career. They have had 2 reunions since, but they never reached the heights of Crowded House, Together Alone. I bought all these deluxe editions of their albums up until they came out in 2016. They also released all those albums on vinyl, but I was just 2 years into my vinyl collecting after getting a record player again, so I went for the deluxe CD versions, not least because of the disc 2s on these are just brimful of Asher. Now they're brimful of so much fantastic demos, unreleased tracks, B-sides and stuff. The follow-up to this was actually a Leftover album, which also contained some absolute wonderful songs. Those 2016 vinyl versions of these are largely sold out. And I haven't really wanted to start buying the ones that I can get, because I know then I'm going to be stuck. And this one, for some reason, I think probably because it was never released on vinyl back in the day. We had entered the age of CDs by then. So it starts around the... I think currently around the £120 mark or something like that on discography. But wonderful, wonderful album. Just so beautiful. We had one solo debut, at least so far, and here is the next one. This was Frank Black's solo debut. An amazing album. It sounds like and feels like the Pixies are still put together in many ways through and through here. But he sounds rejuvenated after maybe, the last Pixies album was maybe not quite up to it compared to the previous ones. But this is just absolutely wonderful. This and the follow-up, was it Teenager of the Year, are just amazing albums. So do yourself a service and listen to this 1993 classic. So I was saying a lot of the some or a lot of these albums I didn't have in 1993 because I wasn't aware of them, but they are from 1993. The one I've had the shortest is this one I got this fall. This is Houdini from Melvins. I have been aware of Melvins, and I have listened to them on and off streaming and otherwise for many years, because of course I love the grunge music from this year and the years before and thereafter, and Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Mudhoney, and then the older stuff, Green River. I just love them. And this album, it nearly floored me when I listened to this. I think I got it back in August or September, and I said, why the hell haven't I bought albums and listened to Melvins before? Because this is amazing. Oh, long video, but 1993. This was actually my first Blur album. I bought it because of the bloody title and because of the album cover. And then when Blur broke through later on, I had bought their first album, which was definitely more, I suppose, shoegaze in style. So when they broke through with Park Life? Sorry, if I remember incorrectly. I was like, oh, now you're all Blur fans. But this was my first Blur album, and recently, a year and a half or so ago, I managed to finish my Blur studio album collection. It was further finished by the fact that they released a new album, which was also wonderful. But Modern Life is Rubbish. I mean, look at this train. Look at the title. It is, this feels like the Kinks telling you in a more abrasive manner that modern life is rubbish, and rule Britannia, hooray for England, the English countryside and everything. So just absolutely wonderful album. Uh, yeah, probably my favorite Blur album to this day. And one reason I chose 1993, because apart from the fact that it was a wonderful music year, was I wanted an opportunity to also show a Depeche Mode album. This isn't my favorite Depeche Mode album, but it's the last really great Depeche Mode album without, in my opinion, without any discussion or anything, because Alan Wilder left the band after this and they became a completely different creature, if you like. Not that they hadn't been different creatures several times over since then, but this is of course Songs of Faith and Devotion. This was along both in the US and the UK, if I remember. In the UK there was their second, no, this was the first number one in the UK and their first number one in the US. The follow-up also actually reached number one in the UK. But yeah, Songs of Faith and Devotion, Depeche Mode being seemingly then you felt that they were trying to be U2 and grunge and everything, and sort of who could blame them? But I mean, we saw Dave Gahan and the long hair and how thin he got, but he's just embracing the rock and roll style and trying new stuff. And Martin Gore was playing a guitar on stage. Suddenly, Alan Wilder was behind the drums, actual drums. But of course, we later found out that this took a toll on the band, and but still, it is it's a massive monument of an album, in my opinion. So 1993, Songs of Faith and Devotion. Now, Frank Black wasn't the only Pixie who was still very much active, and I would expect that his wonderful solo debut did get kind of pushed in, to the side of this next release. Kim Deal gave us, The Breeders and Last Splash. This is the anniversary edition that came out, last year. And it's just wonderful. I love this album to bits, and Cannonball and all that. And yeah, The Breeders. Love them then, love them now. Love Kim Deal. I was aware of Smashing Pumpkins in 1993, but I had not yet bought any of their music. I think the album after this one was my, Melancholy and all that was my first. But later on, very shortly after that, I got their first two albums, and this is, of course, what I'm talking about. It's just a landmark of a record, and this is this is not how the cover looked entirely back then. It was an ordinary color photo with a white sky or whatever. But A Siamese Dream. Music doesn't get much better than this in any way or fashion. But and the follow-up was amazing. I love the next one after that as well. And I didn't think Machina was that bad, but as people seem to think. But this makes 1993 even that more important, in my opinion. Two more to go, and I couldn't, again, this is not my favorite album of 1993, but it's it's such a wonderful ordeal, because sometimes bands, they don't compromise, and they say, this is how we feel, this is how we are, this is how dreadful my psyche is now, and this is, the world is terrible, humans are terrible, but there are also beauty in all this, and I'm gonna make something beautifully ugly. And Nirvana did that with In Utero, and I decided to show you the vinyl. I have a box set on CD box set with lots of extra stuff, but this video is already long enough as it is, and you guys know this, and you know the story afterwards, and all that. But yeah, so is this my favorite album from 1993? like I said, the Crowded House album is the most beautiful album of 1993 in my opinion. But this is probably my favorite and the one that had the most impact on me. I mean, I already loved this band from their debut, but then this second album, this was just even more. I remember I was listening to it and I thought, oh no, it's not as immediate, and so but then I listened to it and listened to it, and now it's my favorite album by one of my probably my top 3 favorite bands, and this is of course Pearl Jam, and I just love this album. This is yeah, VS. Again, maybe not as, but I mean, just down to the, the whole seeing seeing this, even just seeing this orange on here, and I have a lot of copies of this. I do prefer the cover of the album on vinyl. The CD. The sheep is biting on the fence with his teeth out, and there's enough going on in this album already without that somehow I always felt anyway. But yeah, Go, Daughter, Glorified, GWMA, Dissident, Rearview Mirror, Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town. Yeah, no, this is just the best of the best of the best. So that's the end of 1993. Took longer than it should have, maybe, but anyway, guys, if you don't already subscribe to Alex's. Obviously, you need to go there now. His videos are just wonderful. He seems like such a nice guy. He is. I've had other people tell me that he's a nice guy, and it's one of those times when you're thinking, "Oh God, I'm stuck over here in Europe. I don't get to see all these great guys." And that's one guy that I really wish I could have met up. And when they had their thing over at MGK Boston, there in Boston, and yeah, just a happy 1-year anniversary, and I hope you make lots of more great videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you soon in another video.